James, John Clay throws a hell of a party. This is the next Sturgis, and it's just going to take about 85 years.
GMTV Garage with John Clay Wolfe.
1996, when I first got into the wholesale car business, I'm driving and hitting these dealerships from Fort Worth down to Clifton, Texas. And I drove right through here and I noticed the rolling hill country. I didn't realize this kind of hill country was this close to the Metroplex. So then 5 years ago, I see this place on Facebook for sale from a buddy of mine. And I'm looking through the pictures and I'm like, man, I've seen those hills before. Don't tell me that that's the area that I fell in love with back in 96. Sure enough is. Called the guy, said, hey, I want to go look at this ranch. And he says, I'll meet you out there. I said, no, I'll just give me the gate code. I'll go look on my own. He said, you'll get lost. Getting lost is exactly what I want to do. So I came out here, drove it for 2 hours, and then bought it over the phone that day. The little town of Walnut Springs was already set up like a movie set. All this charisma going on, but it was empty. How could we help make this thing happen? How could we get people out here to realize how gorgeous this is? Let's have a bike rally. How do you get everybody to trust you, right? You start having events and testing it out. We had the pin-up contest, that worked. Had the car show, that worked. Did the next car show. Got rained out. Like, okay, well, at least we burned our rained out problem. So we're setting up all the stuff, the website, the plans. I get with the city's being cool. And I'm talking to my lawyer about this rally. And he says, what? I said, yeah, we're doing this bike rally and we're planning all this stuff. People are going to come from all over. My lawyer's like, you mean like Sturgis kind of rally? I'm like, yeah, exactly. He's like, well, if you do that and you own any of this, I will not represent you anymore. I'm quitting. So my lawyer of several years quit because I said I was going to do this. He said, you can't own anything. You can promote it, you can sponsor it, but you can't own this rally. So I gave it to Brandon Shaw. I'm like, man, this is yours. And Brandon really wanted to do the structured events and the wristband. So we decided to do the campground outside of town. And that was Brandon's world. So I'm wanting to decorate the town with more stuff. You know, Gas Monkey brand's big. It helps with everything. That's why we did the Gas Monkey outpost down here. And I'm over at Rawlings on Wednesday night. And I'm like, man, I need your swag van thing. I said, I need it. He said, I won't make it. I said, I'm going to try. Listen, dude, I promised the damn swag van. Y'all don't want to jack with. I'm going to drive the bitch myself.
I already got it off the curb, aired it up, got the battery charged, runs and drives, and it's full of swag.
I know. Have you ever seen Dumb and Dumber where they ride that mini bike to Aspen?
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it.
All right, I dare you. See you in about 4 hours.
On these tires, these cracks, those are not dry cracks. Those are advanced track for rain. These tell you how fast you're going, because the louder the wind goes across these cracks, lets you know that you're going a lot faster. You're gonna need a helmet, probably a chest protector.
I am on a mission to get this thing delivered to the Texas Rattlesnake Rally in Walnut Springs. You know, sometimes if you want to do something right, you just got to do it yourself. I made it out here in the swag van, but I did lose a gear when I got close and I had to crawl into town in first. Sorry, bud. I messed up your swag van. Vendors are rolling in, Strokers is rolling in. All my fans from out of town, this sounds cliche, but I have a fan club.
North Carolina, West Coast.
Bo and Jim radio show, they've been around forever on 92.5, which is the big classic rocker that carries our show in Dallas. And I was supposed to go in Friday morning, and I was already out here, and I called Fairless and said, man, will you go fill in for me? They're going to listen to you better than they'll listen to me anyway, Rick.
The Texas Rattlesnake Bike Rally is put on by John Clay Wolfe. Great guy. So he pretty much owns that town. So he has this dream of making the rally one of the biggest rallies in the South, almost like a Sturgis in Texas. If anybody can build this thing up, it's John Clay Wolfe.
Friday afternoon, the people really started pouring in. The bikes started showing up. We had a ZZ Top cover band that night, and we had music going on at the campground. It was on like Donkey Kong. My son graduated from high school Friday night, so I had to boogie about 4 o'clock. I missed the bikini contest. what you give up for those kids. Get out here after graduation, go into the Rattlesnake, it's packed, see a bunch of people, it was a blast. Go over to the saloon, I stayed up drinking late, have to get up at 6 a.m. for the radio show the next morning. Get up here, start the show. We run for 2 hours from the ranch studio, and then we pivoted to the saloon in town. Made that work. A lot of our listeners were in there, which was cool. You think it's got 13,000 miles on it? It's got 30. You don't know where you got it. It's a Highlander XLE with 30, and it's worth $23,000. After the show gets done, get off the air, go down through town, and it's packed. It feels so good. I was so excited. It's a success. Rawlings started asking me about this K5 Blazer on the edge of town. I mean, like I wouldn't notice a 71 K5 Blazer on the edge of town, and he just discovered it. Of course I've talked to this guy. He's like, let's go talk to this guy about this Blazer. But what's cooler about that guy's place than anything is the inside of his house, man. He's like a historian. He's got all this neat stuff.
5 generations of the Eulers here in Walnut Springs, which is this is me, my dad, and that's his dad, his dad, his dad, all the way back to 1800s. Being right here in Walnut Springs.
So when we get over to the campground, you know, Josh Paris, he's an ex-pro motocross racer. And I always bust his balls saying I'm faster than him. We were sitting over at Gas Monkey one day. I said, let's have Gas Monkey versus GMTV, a team, and we'll have a race during the eclipse. And they came out here, and I beat them. Josh and I rolled up to the campground. They had these mini bikes. And I'm like, hey, I'll beat you again if you want to race.
That's it. Go. 3 laps. 3 laps. Oh, my God. What the hell? Come on, John. Come on, John. What the hell? Hold on.
But unfortunately, I had a technical malfunction. So the competitor in me, when I lost to Josh, I'm like, well, I'm going to out bull ride him this. Josh, I'd like to challenge you to a mechanical bull riding contest.
Why are you trying to get me hurt this weekend?
Little did I know, Josh was an ex-professional bull rider too.
Dude, he didn't tell me he used to ride bulls. Look at this cut when he gets on it with the weight grabbed his hat and shit. I mean, come on, what a sandbagger.
What really sucked is when I fell off that bull, there's a metal pole that holds the bull up, and there wasn't good padding right there. And if you look at my face when I hit the ground, I landed on my ass. I didn't break my tailbone, but it feels like I broke my tailbone, and it still feels like that today. And back to my lawyer's point, I can't own any of this. The second I hit my ass on that metal plate, I thought, if this was somebody else, they'd sue me.
Use a little padding at the base, cowboy.
And then our own DJ Pre-K decides to do a music video in the bottom of the GMTV garage during the rally, which I was unexpected. But hey, man, it's a freak show. Let everybody roll.
Man, you know what's going on. We out here in Walnut Springs just running things, baby. This is the place to be, man. If you ain't here today, I'm sorry. But you don't know what's going on, okay?
You know, some of these fans of ours, man, they're kind of weird. They get a little excited.
Double hammers dropping bang bang in Walnut Springs, Texas. This is where the outlaws rule.
But the rain, man, it was staring at us. You know, it started Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You're looking at the weather. Come Saturday, you knew we were going to get nuked. It was like 100% chance of thunderstorms. 3 o'clock Saturday. I'm like, this thing's blown. These bikers, they're like pilots. They're looking at the weather because they have to ride through this stuff. And you just saw it getting darker. And I look at Rawlings and I'm like, man, this thing's going to get blown up. And he's like, hey, man, we're going to get the hell out of here. So they jumped in their bus and hauled ass. And all the bikers started leaving. And this place emptied out pretty quick. Now, there were several hundred hardcores that stayed. And they got their bikes tucked in under awnings and this and that. So when the wind came, it blew all the tents everywhere. And it blew tents into my classic cars. And it whipped the paint off of them. And I've got to fix that. And it blew the tents into the house out at the Tailgate Ranch and it screwed them up. But the weird one is it blew the tents off of the rattlesnake pit. And everyone was freaking out thinking those 200 rattlesnakes were out in the wild.
I got the snakes.
It wasn't a rain out, but it was a rain out for about 3 hours. Then the UFC event started out at the campground and a whole nother set of people showed up for the UFC event. The UFC event was way cooler than what I expected it to be. If I had it to do over again, we would have done that in the football stadium here in town. That was cool. tons of things I'd have done different. I think next year is going to be a mother load. I think we're going to get to our objective of 10,000 people next year. You know, you got the motorcycle gangs, and we didn't have much of that out here, but there was one group out here, and they're friendly, they're fine. But the cameraman, he didn't understand that those boys don't like to be on tape.
Don't take pictures of the backpatch.
But what's really come on is this dual sport ride. It's dirt bikes that ride on the street, and they're running big treks, 100, 150 mile treks, where 80% of the ride is on dirt. And we had one of those out here. Scott Edwards is a friend of mine I met through Dennis Collins. He put together a trail of dirt roads out here 150 miles long. And people came and they left at like 8 in the morning and they went 150 miles on Friday and Saturday, which was incredible. I really wish I'd have been a part of that, and next year I will do one of those rides with you, Scott. That was so cool that you brought the dual sport thing into this. But these on-off-road bikes are really getting popular, and to have that event inside of this event is important, I do believe. Pillow fights, twerk contest, belly flops, the spicy eating. It was fun. We went through it all. Write in the comments what you think we should do different for next year. I heard a lot of positive feedback, but there'd be nothing more satisfying to look up a couple years from now and this thing just really be something that's a staple of the state of Texas.
And I'm hoping that it turns out to be as big as Sturgis.
And I think the more people that hear about it, maybe we can make this a little Sturgis.
We didn't get rained out, but we got rained out on the last day, the big day. Had we not had the weather in the forecast, I think the turnout would have been 3 times what we had. Speaking of the car show rain out and the bike rally pseudo rain out, we're going to do a makeup in Dallas, June 14th, the day before Father's Day, at Richard's new place. I call it Ice Monkey, but it's really called Gas Monkey Ice House. And it's over in Grandscape. It's huge, it's badass. Bring your cars, bring your bikes, and we're going to do the radio show from the Gas Monkey Ice House, June 14th. And then the next week, we're hopping on June 21st, and we're going out to Odessa, Texas, and doing it all again. And then we're going to do a organized car show at F1 Bar and Grill in Odessa, Texas. When it takes a year to plan one of these big events and get the big sponsors and get the big bands and do it right. Everybody's like, get Motley Crue, get Ozzy Osbourne, get. Yeah, well, that costs a lot of money, and that's fine if we have a lot of people. Like, subscribe, comment, tell me you're coming, and I'll do it.